Hi, I'm Lorelei, registered dietitian nutritionist. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about gut health, and then I'm going to show you how to make sauerkraut, which is good for your gut.
Guten Morgen, meine Lorelei.
Aye, aye, aye.
I am the sauerkraut man, chopping cabbages all day. So we have the good gut health, the Lorelei nutritionist way. Guten Tagen.
Guten Tag, Joe.
Tag, you're it. I am a kraut. Why am I so sour?
Fermented foods are part of many cultures.
Like beer.
Yes, that's true.
Sehr gut.
Although beer isn't necessarily good for gut health in the same way that a lot of other fermented foods are, such as yogurt and kefir, which are fermented dairy products, things like sauerkraut, German, I guess.
Sauerbraten.
Kimchi, which is also a similar fermented vegetable food that's part of Asian culture.
Sour sausage.
Sour sausage, not so much.
Sour basa.
We have things like miso and tempeh, which are fermented soy
Let's
products.
get back to the cabbage.
Okay.
Sauerkrauten.
Yes, okay. We're going to be making sauerkraut today.
Sour.
Sauerkraut actually is both a prebiotic and a probiotic. So, Mr. German sauerkraut man.
I am a kraut and I am sour, so I am sauerkraut man.
Do you know the difference between prebiotics and probiotics?
One is before you chop, the other after you chop.
Probiotics are good for your gut.
Yeah.
We want to have good bacteria in our gut, and probiotics, basically, we're putting good bacteria into our cells.
As opposed to amateur biotics.
Prebiotics is what feeds those bacteria.
As opposed to postbiotics, which you send through the mail.
Yeah. Prebiotics feed the bacteria. So if you have a lot of bacteria, but you don't have anything to feed it, then that's also not good. Do you know how you feed bacteria in your gut?
You give it Bieren and sausage and chop it very fine. So you go big and strong and German and sour like me. Good luck.
Nine! Hey! Aren't you gonna help me make this sauerkraut?
I have helped, I have inspired.
You have inspired. I am teaching you all about pre and probiotics.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
This is so slow.
We're gonna chop up the cabbage.
Oh, chop.
I'm gonna use my food processor because it is more efficient that way, but you can chop it with a knife. While you try to think about it, I'm going to cut this cabbage.
Probiotics have taken money to play their game.
The prebiotics need to be in there so that the probiotics can eat.
It's very confusing. When are we eating?
Not for a while.
I came for foods.
This takes 4 or 5 days to ferment.
Guten Tagen!
Oh no. So I actually learned to make sauerkraut on YouTube myself, and at first I was really nervous about it because what we're doing is we're taking an organic food and we're letting it sit out for days and then we're eating it. So I was scared if I did it wrong it would make me sick, but there's a few ways to know that you've done it right, and I have had a lot of luck with sauerkraut. It tastes delicious and it works. So you kind of have to trust that it's going to work the first time you do it. And after that, you'll have tons of fermenting confidence. So prebiotics are generally things that are full of fiber. So our gut bacteria actually eats fiber that our own bodies can't digest. So because cabbage also has fiber in it, it's going to feed itself. So we're going to ferment it, which is going to give us the probiotic, and then the fiber that's in the cabbage is going to provide the prebiotic. Other prebiotics that actually seem to work really well are things like onions and garlic and bananas. I think also like artichokes, asparagus, but really any food that's got a fiber in it. So other things are like fruits and vegetables, whole grains and beans. These are good for our gut because they feed our good bacteria. I'm gonna chop this cabbage into chunks and put it in the food processor to slice or shred. You can do this with a knife. It takes a while. We're using up a lot of cabbage. I'm using both red and green cabbage today. You can use just one or just the other. It doesn't really matter. I just happen to have both. I actually love using red cabbage for a couple of reasons. First, it's just really pretty, but second, it's got a really great indicator pigment in it. So right now, this is like a dark purple, but once it ferments, it turns into a really bright magenta, and you can see that color change, which will indicate to you that your sauerkraut has become acidic, which means it has appropriately fermented. The fermenting process produces both lactic acid and carbon dioxide. So you will see some bubbles as your product ferments, but the lactic acid means that the product is going to be acidic, i.e. sour, and that is going to turn our purple cabbage bright magenta. Green cabbage does change color as well, but it's just a little bit less obvious of a color change. I'm going to shred all of this. I have one jar for fermenting. It may not all fit, but you'd be surprised how much will fit into this jar because we're going to massage it. It really shrivels up and packs down really tight. So what you see here, the volume of it is going to decrease quite a bit as we start to get some of the moisture out of it as we... I've got my food processor with a slicer blade in there, and I'm just going to slice it. Oh, also, if you have like tough outer leaves on your cabbage, like this, save these. We're gonna pack these into the top of the sauerkraut jar after we've gotten the rest of the sauerkraut ready. You can cut the core out, you don't need the core. Once your cabbage is shredded, put it in a big bowl. This is packed in here, so there's actually a lot that has been shredded. Make sure your hands are clean. You're gonna do the next part with your hands. Okay, we're gonna add salt now to this cabbage, which is gonna actually help to pull the moisture out of the cabbage, which is gonna make it a little softer because we wanna really soften this up so that it can pack tight in the jar. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of salt to all this cabbage. Just sprinkle it there. And then this happens now just with your hands. So you may want to bring your cabbages to room temperature because it can be really cold if they've been refrigerated. We're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes really squishing this up with our fingers. So just get in there. Massage your cabbage. This is much like massaging kale for a salad, but we want to probably even go further with it to where we're really pulling a lot of liquid out of the cabbage and it gets really, really soft and pliable. So why are we worried about feeding the bacteria in our gut? Well, our gut health is actually beneficial for a lot of parts of our overall health. So first of all, just our digestive tract. Having good bacteria in there is good for our colon health and it helps with our digestion. So more and more is being learned about how our gut affects our brain and our mental health. Did you know that the bacteria in our gut can actually release hormones and other neurotransmitters similar to what our body releases? So the bacteria in our gut can actually affect our nervous system. Good gut health is associated with people having a healthier overall weight and a healthier cardiovascular system. And it's something that I think we're learning more about, but we don't want to neglect. When it's nice and thinly shredded, it works a lot better than if we had big, huge chunks. And I find that it's just a lot faster to do it in the food processor than by hand, although you certainly can chop by hand as well. Just keep going. You'll start to squish a lot of water out of it. That's what you want. Once you've really squashed your cabbage up good, it's time to pack it into the jar. Be sure to sterilize your jar ahead of time. I did that with mine by just pouring some boiling water into it. We want good bacteria to grow, but we don't want any outside bacteria that is undesirable to start growing in our sauerkraut jar. So you can just pack it in with your hands. I sometimes use like a wide mouth funnel to really get it in there. And at first it's gonna be kind of just loosely packed, but we really do wanna get it tightly packed in there so that we can get all of the air out. Fermentation is an anaerobic process, meaning it's done without air. If we have air coming into contact with our sauerkraut, that's when it can spoil, mold, go bad. But if we really keep the conditions anaerobic, we're gonna have fermentation happen, which is exactly what we want. Part of the reason why we wanted the liquid to get expressed out of this is now as we squish this down, the space between each shred of cabbage is gonna fill up with liquid, and that moisture, the water, is gonna keep the air out. So we wanna press it down. And as you're pressing, you're gonna get more liquid out. And this is how we can actually pack so much cabbage into our small jar, is just by compressing it as much as possible. You can see there's also liquid in the bowl here. If I have room at the top of my jar, I'll pour the rest of that liquid into the top. And there may be space left in the top of your jar. That is okay. That's gonna fill in with water. And then when we seal it, we're gonna try to keep the cabbage pressed down, immersed in the water. Here's where we use our large reserved cabbage leaves. This is gonna go in on the top, and we're gonna use this to kind of seal in all the cabbage under the water. And these are ultimately going to be thrown away, these big leaves. And you can kind of push this down the sides again so that the cabbage doesn't float up, out, or to the top. This is a jar I can seal, but even so, because the carbon dioxide will bubble up, sometimes it wants to push the cabbage up with it. So I'm gonna use something to kind of press this top cabbage leaf down, like a small old spice jar or something like that, but you can use whatever you've got if you want to do this step. If you've got your cabbage up this high, like in your leaf is here, you might just be able to press it down with the top of your jar. And then I'm sealing my jar. That said, sometimes some of the liquid will still bubble up and squeeze out the side, so I am going to store this inside another container so that I don't get fermenting cabbage liquid all over my countertop. And then really, this is just gonna sit out on the counter 4 to 5 days. I think you could probably do it up to a week. It's not exact, but you're just gonna watch it and you'll watch the color change. Don't test it until the color has changed. You want to keep the air out and the cabbage in. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll show you how it turns out at the end of the process. You can add other ingredients to your sauerkraut. So you could do like shredded carrot or a chopped up herb, other vegetables. You can also add spices. I would suggest like whole seed spices, like you could add caraway seed or cumin seed or coriander seed if you want to flavor your sauerkraut. So you're not stuck with just the cabbage sour option, but you can experiment and kind of try some flavors out if you like to. It has now been 5 days and this sauerkraut is ready. You can see how purple it is. It is so bright and magenta. Very different from like that almost bluish purple that we had when we started. So we know that this has turned acidic, it has fermented, and we can go ahead and pop it open. It might release some CO2 as it opens. Just a warning, you can do this over a sink if you're concerned. All right, and I'm gonna take this little spacer out. There's a lot of liquid in the top now that's above that top cabbage leaf we put in there. You wanna go ahead and just drain this liquid off. You will notice that this is very strong smelling, so this shouldn't come as any great surprise, but fermenting cabbage, not odor-free. Yeah, so it smells sour, but yeah, it does smell fermented for sure. And then we're gonna take off this top cabbage leaf. There's probably nothing wrong with it, but really this was the most likely to have been exposed to air, so we're just going to throw this out this was what was keeping the rest of the sauerkraut from getting into the air. So then we can taste our sauerkraut. Although this was half red, half green cabbage, that red pigment is really strong. It all looks red. So that's why I sometimes like to combine, do some of each, because you're definitely still gonna get that red color, even if a lot of your cabbage is green when it starts off. All right. It's tangy and tasty. I like to put this on sandwiches, in salads. You can throw it on to stir fries. There's a whole bunch of uses for this. You can just eat it plain. Now that it's been opened, we want to store it in the fridge, but it actually will keep in the fridge for a really long time. Probably the worst that's going to happen is it's just going to keep fermenting. And this is a lot of sauerkraut. This is going to last you for a pretty long time. Definitely long enough that if you wanted to go ahead and make another batch now, this would still be going by the time that next batch got done. So enjoy. I hope this is fun for you. If you have any other questions about fermenting, let me know. I don't know everything there is to know about it, but I do enjoy it. And I think that adding some fermented foods that are probiotic to your diet is a great way to just really start to help to boost your health. Nothing wrong with some sauerkraut. It gives you both the fiber for prebiotic and the probiotic good bacteria in here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you liked this video by giving it a thumbs up. Questions and comments, leave them for me. I'd love to read them. All right, that's it. Take care. Happy, healthy 2021.
When I'm sauerkrauting you, will you answer too? I have the German hat.
Is that German? I thought that was the game show hat.
It's Tyrolean.
Germans are all about the efficiency.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Not
that
to
we want to get
stereotype, but yeah. I also sour and like the sauerkraut.
This dialect isn't culturally stereotyping in any way.
No, nein.